everybody. I'm Paul Goebel. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited. I cannot tell you how awesome this is. I want to thank first you people for coming, and it's amazing to me that you had nothing better to do. And it's great that you're here, and I appreciate it. And for those of you who are listeners of the Paul Goebel Show, thank you for supporting us for so long and coming to see us tonight. Forgive me if I get a little choked up. This is, for those of you who don't know, we've been doing this podcast about 10 years, over 350 episodes, and this is our last one in this series. We'll be doing one more, like a farewell show, but this is our last recorded show with guests, and when Andy asked if we wanted to do the show here at the festival, I said, why don't we make it the last show? And he said, oh, I didn't really do anything the show. Actually, the reason I end the show is because, the reason I decided to end it, because I got tired of people, when I mentioned my podcast people, I got tired of them going, oh, you have a podcast? And it got a little old, so then I could go, now I can just say, no, not anymore. No, I don't. So Andy said, why don't you do it here? And I said, that sounds great, because I can get some comics on who aren't from LA, and people I've met and always wanted to have on, and you know, then he said, hey, do you want Gallagher on your show? And I said, you can't be serious. And he said, I totally am. So that was like the icing on the cake. I said, this is going to be great. So with that in mind, for those of you who listen to the show, we just, the reason I started the show is just to talk about TV, really, and entertainment, and complain about what's bad, and gush over what's great, and then hang out with my friends every week. And it's been great. What we don't, if you're listening to the show, you know what we don't do is try to, we've had guests on many times who we've disagreed with, who may be too conservative or have a fucked up worldview or whatever. But the key is, for the most part, they're friends of mine. I know them to, you know, one degree of friendship to another. And so Jim has brought this up many times on the show. What we don't try to do is have heated discussions about politics or people's you know, ideas on their life or the way the world works or anything like that. I don't call people out. You know, I'm happy to say I disagree with you, but we don't really get into that. With that in mind, we have a great lineup tonight. We have not just me and my co-host Jim Bruce, but Mike Kaplan is on the show, and Xander DeVoe, and of course the world famous legendary Gallagher is our final. So with that in mind, I am excited to hear what my guests have to say about the world of entertainment. We kind of have the whole spectrum covered with those guests. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, while I don't like to cause fights, I can't speak on behalf of my guests. So we will be doing that, and we will of course be recording it, and you can listen to the Paul Goebel Show on iTunes. Go to my website, thekingdoftv.com, where you can listen to old episodes. And now is the time to start listening to the show too, by the way. If you're not already a subscriber, now is the time to jump on board, because all those episodes will be available online. But listen to the show there, and my new podcast is called Hey Watch This with Paul and David. My friend David Bax and I will be taking a more serious look at TV. Jim will be doing a new show that I'm sure he'll be happy to tell you about until you ask him to stop. So with that in mind, I want to, as a warm-up, I want to introduce you to my best friend and co-host, Jim Bruce, everybody.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? I've been a co-host. I've been friends with Paul Goebel since high school because when I make a bad decision, I stick with it. That's what I do. That's what I do. But our show has always been about television. That's what our show has started out as, is about television and lonely guys not getting a lot of sex is what it's always been about. So it's certainly at least what it's always been about for me. So if you don't mind, as a warm-up, I'm going to get a little personal with you. Do you mind? All right, I'm going to get a little personal right now. I don't mean to make anybody here uncomfortable, but I like TV. I like TV. And I've had favorite shows of mine canceled. So don't tell me I haven't suffered. Quantum Leap is no longer on TV. Don't tell me I don't know Lost. But you know what I've never done when a show was canceled? I've never written a letter, started an email campaign, started a protest to try to get my TV show uncanceled. And people will do that. People will show up at the studios with bags of walnuts because their favorite character ate walnuts and they want to get the show back on the air. But I always figure people like that have missed the point of television once they start participating. That's not what TV is for. TV is not for you to participate in life. TV is for you to allow your life to pass by and not notice you're a failure. That's what television is for. Like, I could never do that. I could never... If I found out I was getting canceled, I wouldn't write a letter. If I found out that they were putting an end to the Jim Bruce show, I would figure, well, I'm probably not testing very well. And they'll probably find a better guy than me, maybe a Jim with a black sassy friend. And that'll be better. But TV means a lot to people. It's crazy to me how much TV means to people. This is a true story. In Vietnam, there were Vietnam POWs stuck in the little cages who, to keep their sanity, told each other about episodes of Star Trek they remember. That's true. Now, I bet that there's some Vietnam veteran who, when he talks about Vietnam, that's the worst part. He thinks back, he's like, it wasn't bad enough I was stuck in a little cage, but I was stuck there with a bunch of fucking nerds who wouldn't shut up about sitting on the edge of forever. And I could hear across the camp there were guys talking about baseball, but I wasn't in those fucking cages. To me, reminiscing about the original Star Trek when you're in a POW camp is an optimistic thing to do. Because that show wasn't on very long. It was only on for 3 seasons. So you kind of think you might get out. If I was in the POW camp, I'd be the guy going, I don't know, guys, don't you think maybe we should talk about Gunsmoke? And then over in the corner there'd be another guy, and he'd say, maybe we should talk about The Simpsons. I mean, that show's been on even longer. And then everybody would turn to him and go, this is Vietnam. The Simpsons hasn't even been on TV yet. And then that guy would get kind of freaked out and he'd go, oh boy, and he'd turn blue and disappear. And that's how my reboot of Quantum Leap ends. You guys, I cannot stress this enough, and I promise I won't do this very often today, but I have to. Paul Goebel and I have been friends through a lot of depression and believe me, a lot more is to come, I know. But I can't thank you enough for being here, and I can't thank my friend Paul enough, and I'd just like to very publicly say that I do now, and I always will, love my friend Paul Goebel, and please welcome Paul Goebel, the King of TV.
All right, we're going to start the actual show. We're to knock them alive, Jim. Oh, shit. We got so much great stuff. Okay, how many people actually have listened to the Paul Goebel Show before?
How many of you are lying?
Awesome. All right. That's great. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the Paul Goebel Show. I'm Paul Goebel. Joining me as always is my co-host and best friend, Jim Bruce.
Hey, everybody.
We're so happy we are coming to you, not live, but unedited from the Bridgetown Comedy Festival.